Theme parks all across the United States, all around the world, are starting to reopen. They've all got safety protocols in place. What's going on? Who's opening? When are they opening? What are they doing? And what are my thoughts on some of it? We've got it for you. As I record this on Thursday, May 28th, we've gotten a whole slew of news from a whole bunch of theme parks about when they're opening, what their opening dates are, what they're doing, how they're handling the reopening, and all sorts of information coming at us. So I'm going to try to wrap up a lot of it, give you the information, let you know what the parks are doing, what is going to be required if you want to go visit one of the theme parks, and at the end, give you some of my thoughts and feelings about some of what's happening. Now, there is so much of this, I've actually got it written down in notes because there's no way I can remember all of this. If you'll forgive me a little bit while I read through all of this news, because there is a ton. One thing you can fully expect when you go to the theme parks when they reopen, pretty much every park is going to be on reduced capacity. They've all announced pretty much somewhere between 30 and 50%. Some are actually even a little bit lower, but they're all capping their capacity at much lower numbers than what they used to help provide space in between groups. They've got rides. You can fully expect to see staggered seating on rides. They've all got more cleaning protocols going on. So you're going to see a lot of things sanitized more often, hand sanitizer all over at the parks. Most of them look like they're going to have some sort of temperature screening on the way in, not just for the employees, but also for the guests. So don't be surprised if you have to walk through a thermal tent, or if you have to have them hold up a little scanner to check your temperature. And if you've got a temperature over like 100.4, you're probably not going to get in. They're all going to be encouraging contactless payments. That's not just using credit cards, especially if you have the tap card, but also Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, anything where you're not actually having to touch the keypads, and especially not cash. They're really trying hard not to do cash now. Many of them are actually doing online orders for food, so you can order and pay in your phone rather than have to actually go up and order. Anything that they can do to kind of reduce that contact, the parks are trying to do. Expect buffets to be cut way back or non-existent. Anything that would gather a crowd, you may not find open. So just be prepared for that regardless of which park you go to. In fact, some of them are being so strict on it that they're going to be requiring reservations. Six Flags, even though they haven't given any opening dates yet outside of Frontier City, they're going to be requiring reservations if you want to go to the park. Disney is actually saying that they're going to be requiring people to have a reservation to visit the parks. Probably staying on Disney property, or pass holders are going to have to make a reservation ahead of time. Don't be surprised if that shows up even more with other parks as well. Here's the list of parks, opening dates, and other information that I have found in the last just 2 days. Fun Spot in Florida in the Orlando area is open already. Gatorland is already open, and in fact I actually had some friends go there already and see how it went. Disney Springs, of course, reopened a week ago with all sorts of guidelines in place, limiting guest capacity, making the park in only certain places, not allowing them to park wherever they used to, requiring everybody to wear masks. That's going to be a common theme, and I will talk about that at the end. The only time that Disney Springs has said that it's okay to not wear your mask is if you're eating. Be prepared for masks to be required at a lot of these places here. SeaWorld in Orlando is opening June 11th, and anybody over age 3 is going to have to wear a face mask, along with all the other safety protocols I mentioned. They will provide one if the guest doesn't have one, and you'll find that at most of the parks as well. Holiday World is opening June 14th for pass holders, June 17th for everybody. They're going to be 50% capacity, and reservations to get in the park are strongly suggested. Not required, but they are definitely encouraging it. They're going to have a ride reservation system, which you will see that popping up at a lot of parks. No idea how well this is going to work yet, but they are going to have one. For Holiday World, face masks are optional. Legoland, reopening June 1st. They will also be optional on face masks. Six Flags Frontier City in Oklahoma City, opening June 5th. They're the only park that's really announced an opening date with Six Flags. Six Flags Great Adventure has announced the drive-through zoo is reopening on May 30th, but we don't know about the rest of the parks yet. We do know that they are going to require a reservation to visit the park for everybody, and expect dates to be coming for that pretty soon. Cedar Fair has not announced any dates or safety protocols yet. They're really the one chain that's being real quiet. Silver Dollar City also, as of today, has not yet announced an opening date or safety protocols. Dollywood has said they're reopening. I've seen a couple possible dates, but again, not a lot of information there. Those seem to be kind of the exceptions, that if it's a Herschend Park or a Cedar Fair Park, there's not a lot of information out there yet. But expect face masks at the Herschend Parks is what I have been hearing. Universal Orlando. Opening date, June 5th. They will have temperature screenings. Face masks are going to be required of all guests over age 3. They wanted to note that some attractions will be closed. This is going to also be true. You are going to find attractions that would compact people or everything is inside. Don't be terribly surprised to find those closed. Other changes include staggered parking inside the resort's garages, increased disinfection of the ride vehicles, the restrooms, the food service locations, and other frequently touched places, social distancing required throughout the parks, virtual lines for the rides. Visitors are required to use hand sanitizer before boarding vehicles for the rides and for 3D attractions. Universal team members are going to be handing you your 3D glasses, not picking them up out of the bins to help reduce contact. Staggered spacing in ride attraction vehicles. So like every other row. No single rider lines. That's also going to be true at pretty much every park. If you're used to going by yourself and taking advantage of the single rider lines, that's going to be gone, because they're not going to be putting strangers in with groups. Disney. And this just came out yesterday, and I'll take some time to go through all of the Disney information because they got a bunch. And keep in mind, a lot of what Disney is doing is also going to apply to many of the other parks. July 11th for Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, as well as the Disney Resort hotels will actually be opening up a couple weeks before that. So July 11th, Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom is reopening. July 15th, Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios are reopening. And I'll be honest, I'm actually a little surprised to see Epcot on the list because of all the construction going on, the entrance being a mess, all their international workers from the World Showcase were all sent home. That's going to be very interesting. But July 15th, so they've got a month and a half to get everything in place. Disney, you'll notice, is about a month later than everybody else. They're going to make sure that they've got it right. They will have a theme park visit reservation system, which is going to require guests to reserve their trip in advance. Existing ticket holders and annual pass holders are going to be able to make reservation requests in phases before new tickets are sold. So if you've already got a reservation, if you are an annual pass holder, or if you had a reservation that's been kind of put on hold because of all of this, you're going to get priority, and they're going to do this in phases to get you in. Disney Vacation Club members are the one exception about making new reservations. They get to do it while the others are still in phases. Anybody else that just says, hey, let's book a Disney vacation, it's not going to be happening for a while. Face coverings at Disney are required for guests ages 3 and up while on property. Cast members will receive company-issued reusable face coverings, so all cast members are wearing them. Anybody over age 3 required to wear a face mask. If you want to go to Disney, you're going to have to wear a mask. They also mentioned that Walt Disney World is considering establishing relaxation zones, though, where guests will be able to remove their masks and take a break from wearing them in safe conditions. So Disney's going to try and find some places where you'll be able to take the mask off and just breathe for a little bit, but they're going to do it in such a way that there's space between everybody so that they don't have to worry about contamination. So Disney's going to try to do a compromise on that. Parades, fireworks, shows that attract big crowds, anything where people are going to be compacted together, cancel. Not happening. So no nightly fireworks, no afternoon parades. Expect Fantasmic to be canceled. Anything where you would get a crowd together, not happening. Also includes high-touch experiences, like in some of the queues where they got the play areas. Meet and greets are not happening with the characters. Playgrounds, all of that is temporarily suspended. So if you're going to Disney to meet Anna and Elsa or Mickey, wait, because there are not going to be any character meet and greets. Disney's probably going to do kind of like what they've been doing in Shanghai, where they have some drive-thrus several times a day, or have appearances where the characters come out and wave at you from a distance, and they're going to be encouraging you to just keep on moving as they go by. No stopping, no setting up for it. So you'll probably get to see the characters from a distance waving and saying hi, but no meet and greets, no autographs, no pictures with them, nothing like that. So that is all on hold. That's kind of an overview of what is going to be coming up at the parks. Basically, if you want to go to a theme park, be prepared to wear a mask. There's a couple exceptions, but generally, they're all going to ask you to do a mask. They're all going to ask you for temperature screenings. They're all going to be trying to cover every base they can, requiring social distance, requiring people to be cautious and careful. Disney actually even has a whole special team that they have created of cast members that their whole deal is to make sure that people are spaced apart and wearing their masks. That's their whole job. What's it going to be like to visit the theme park? It's going to be different. I know that there are people that have some very strong feelings about this. Goodness, Disney posted they were requiring masks for Disney Springs, and you thought that some people had lost their minds. And I know that there are a lot of views of this is something terrifying, this is nothing at all. And so if I can, I'd like to review a few other facts about this before we go to the theme parks that I want everybody to consider and think about here. Keep in mind, these are facts. One of the things I want to say is a lot of stuff going around social media is not facts. I have seen a ton of misinformation. These are documented facts that nobody disputes, and if they're disputing them, they're a nobody. As of yesterday, according to Johns Hopkins University, which nobody in their right mind disputes, we hit over 100,000 deaths in the United States from COVID. That is more people than the Korean War and the Vietnam War combined. That's a lot of people. We're over 1.7 million people just in the U.S. that are confirmed, and that is with it still being difficult to impossible to get testing done. I have friends that have tried to get tested, and they can't get tested. Missouri, as of a couple days ago, had almost 12,000 people confirmed with it. 684 dead. Florida, over 50,000 confirmed. And over 2,250 dead. Okay, just think about those numbers. And I'm not trying to make this scary, okay, please? I'm just trying to make it real because I see a lot of people in my area and in Florida that are not taking this seriously. Personally, I've had 2 college friends that have died. Neither one is confirmed because one died before they even realized coronavirus was a thing, but were positive it was coronavirus. It was 2 months after news of it came out of China, and every symptom matched up. We had another one that died that were sure from it, but he couldn't get tested. They wouldn't test him. I'm afraid that there's a lot of cases like that where people never got tested, and so they're not in that official count. Every scientist and researcher says that count is low. I've had 6 of my son's coworkers, 2 of who I know personally, all end up hospitalized with it at various points. We thought 2 were going to die. I can't believe one didn't die. Somehow he was on death's door for over a week and somehow survived. Me personally, I have had a dozen people that I know personally diagnosed with it, many of which were in the hospital at various points in time with it. My sister-in-law in Maryland, their small groups leader is on a ventilator right now with it. They've got 3 other families in their church that have people that have been diagnosed. They have 4 of their neighbors in their neighborhood that have been diagnosed with this and going through treatments. So if those are saying it's no big deal, that number of people diagnosed, you see it get compared to the flu a lot of times. The worst flu season ever in U.S. history, going all the way back to the 1918-19 flu, Spanish flu, was 2017's winter season, where we lost 60,000 to it. This is 100,000 in just over 3 months. So we took a year of the worst ever, and we did more than it in less than 3 months, or just over 3 months. This is serious stuff, folks, okay? There's a lot of people like, if I have to go to a park, I'm not going to go because I haven't been infected. The point of the masks isn't because you've been infected. It's to protect you and everybody in your family from getting infected. Because you can be a carrier and not know it. Because that person next to you in line that you don't know, they might have it and you don't know it. That lady that's creeping up next to you because she wants to get on the ride, she could have it and you don't know where she's been. You have no idea of the condition of the people around you. While the temperature screenings help, if somebody happens to be one of those asymptomatic people that are carriers, You've got no way of knowing. And by them wearing the masks and keeping distance, you're preventing them from infecting you and at the least turning you into a carrier and taking it home to your family. Now, I know masks in the Florida heat are going to be rough. I know some cast members that are going to have a very hard time, maybe not be able to work under these conditions. I understand that. It's terrible. We want to get the economy going, but I struggle with the price of human lives. And I'm not blaming the parks at all. I struggle with those that say I refuse to wear a mask because for me, it's very inconsiderate of the people around them. I'm happy you haven't had it. I don't want you to get it. I don't want to get it. So I'm actually a supporter of the parks saying masks are required. I don't know when I'm going to visit parks. I don't know, honestly, if I'm going to visit parks. I'm trying to work that out still. I'm doing a wait and see to see how all of this is going to work out. Not just for my sake, but for the sake of others around us. When I do visits, it's going to be in conditions that I know I will have space, that will be safe. I plan on going, if I go, on days that have very light attendance. I'm struggling with the idea of rides, just because of the health conditions and disinfecting and everything. So there's a lot in processing and a lot I think we need to work through still. But when it comes down to it, here's my bottom lines. We need to be aware of the actual current situation, not pretend it doesn't exist, not pretend it's not real, not keep pushing the stuff that the numbers are inflated. They're not. We need to be aware of the people around us. We don't know what they have. We don't know what they don't have. We don't know if somebody's a carrier. We don't know for sure that we haven't had somebody pass it to us and we're a carrier. Even if we've never had symptoms, we've got to be aware that this is going around. The parks have to be cautious with it. If we get somebody that gets infected at a park, not only do we have multiple people getting sick because of multiple exposures, but we also have the parks then getting held legally liable, which is not going to go well. If this gets out of hand again because people are not practicing social distancing and using masks and precautions, this thing's going to explode again. And if we explode it again, we're looking at another shutdown. When I see things like the hairdresser in Springfield that went to work because she wasn't convinced she was sick, and between her, 140 people and 7 coworkers got exposed, at least one of which already has it. When I see the pool parties at Lake at the Ozarks and the beaches down in Florida and people just not practicing any sort of safety. Just because you don't have a fever doesn't mean you're not a carrier. Masks are not about you. They're about everybody around you and preventing them from passing it on to you, or if you do have an exposure and don't know it, passing it on to them. I know they're not comfortable, but please be aware it's not about you. It's about others. Can we show respect and compassion and decency towards the other people around us and help make sure that we're not a cause of this resurging again? And that's not just saying, well, I don't have it, so I'm safe. It's to make sure that I don't put myself in a position where it could get passed on to me from somebody else who has it and I don't know. And then I pass it on and I don't even realize I'm doing it. Can we be cautious and respectful? Can we help make sure that the economy keeps going and not put us in a situation where we see a lot more people dead? Can we work together on this one? The people that are afraid of it, are at high risk, are going to stay home. But that doesn't mean that we can just flaunt the safety rules if we don't see ourselves in that place. Please think about the others around you. If you can't go out in the heat with a mask on, don't go. Find something else to do. Disney's still going to be there later on. We can wait until we go, until it's safe, till this is past. We can do this, and we can do it together, respecting each other around us, making sure that the economy does come back up while not allowing a resurgence of this. Let's do it together for the sake of everybody, and we will all benefit. But as long as we pursue our own deal and what I want and what I have to have, we're just going to end up blowing it up again. And I don't want to see that. I'm sure that many of you disagree because this is something that so many have strong feelings. Feel free to comment below, but please keep it respectful, keep it decent. I do have filters in place already that are going to eliminate language. And if you are just name calling and other stuff, it's probably going to be deleted, okay? I'm just going to be honest with you. Be respectful towards others in comments and in behavior, and we can get through this thing together. And that's what all of us want, to be able to get through this, to eventually get to a sense of normalcy again, and then we can actually do this normal. That's what I hope to see. I imagine it's what you... Let's work together on it. Thanks so much for watching. God bless. As I record this on Friday... Is it Friday? No. Oh, yeah. Theme park visit is going to require reservations, which will allow guests, which will require guests to blah, blah, blah. My whole park, of course, is built. My whole park, hey, that will help keep me from being able. That will help. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my God! If you get somebody that's If you'd like to know about my merchandise, fan pages, and more, be sure to check the description below. If you'd like to know whenever I've got a new video posted, well, make sure you hit that button right up there and subscribe. If you'd like to watch another one of my videos, I've got a great one for you right here. And if you'd like to be like these wonderful people here and support me financially on Patreon, well, make sure you check the link right there. There's even some extra perks for them. Thank you so much, and God bless.